Namaste and greetings, and welcome to the Center for Spiritually Integrated Arts, a Centers for Spiritual Living teaching center. I'm Reverend Dr. Raymond Anderson, the founding minister and spiritual director. If you ever have questions about who I am, who we are, what we do, what is Spiritually Integrated Arts? What is a teaching center? What is Centers for Spiritual Living? What is metaphysical spirituality? What is New Thought? Science of Mind and Spirit? How do I become a member? How can I support, tithe, and donate? All of these questions and so many more. Send an email. You have two options. SIAADMIN, Spiritually Integrated Arts, admin at spirituallyintegratederarts.org, or spirituallyintegratederarts@gmail.com. Either of those will work. You can also visit our website, www.spirituallyintegratederarts.org. Now, you may be wondering, where else can I find and follow? There are several other social media platforms that you can also subscribe and follow. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and our YouTube channel, where you can also find all of our Sunday messages and more. I look forward to hearing from you soon. I look forward to you being a part of this beloved community. Because we are a virtual community, it doesn't matter where in the world you are. This can also be your spiritual community, because you can have more than one. Anywhere that you feel supported, anywhere you are spiritually fed is home, is community, is relationship. So I look forward to dialoguing more, conversing more, getting to know you. Much love and appreciation. Live long and prosper. Chat with you soon. Take care. Namaste and greetings. August, welcome. This month, join us on the 6th and the 20th as we gather in Zoom for our After Sunday Message Fellowship. Also, quick note, if you are in the area, August 13th, I will be also speaking at the Unity of Gaithersburg, and August 27th, if you're in the area, I will be speaking at the Unitarian Church in Baltimore. Just so you know. But of course, this will still be going on by location. But anyway, if you do not already have the Zoom link for our After Sunday Message Fellowship, send an email to either of the email addresses that you see listed on your screen. The link will be sent to you. And then you can join in on all of the good conversation, the great fellowship that we engage in. Now, there's a lot of things that will be coming very soon. And one of the best ways that you can be kept up to date is, one, visit the website. Two, like, follow, share, subscribe to all of the social media platforms that we are on. Now, some of the things that are coming, of course, will be classes, events, field trips, etc. So stay tuned for more information. Also, you see at the bottom the QR codes. On the left is for Givelify, on the right is for PayPal, so that you may also support this beloved community financially, so that we can influence and impact the world with consciousness to create a world that works for all in the unique and special way that this teaching center intends to do. Now, what's going on right now? Every Wednesday, except when things are going on, sometimes there's schedule changes, but every Wednesday night, our Science of Mind and Spirit discussion group from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, facilitated by me, discusses such things as What is science of mind and spirit? How is it relevant today in the 21st century? How do we practice it in a relevant and life affirming way? And how do we make it a way of life so that we are truly transforming not only our individual consciousness, but the collective? Every Thursday night from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, facilitated by Tracy Rhymes, is the study group that takes the questions that I always leave you with at the end of the Sunday message. This group takes those questions, answers them, discusses them, and extrapolates all kinds of great stuff because we know we do not heal in isolation. We do not heal alone. We heal, we transform, we evolve in community. And this group is doing that work. Now, if you do not currently have the link to either Wednesday night or Thursday night, once again, those two email addresses, send an email and request the link for either or both Wednesday night, Thursday night, and the link will be sent to you. Oh, remember that I mentioned some stuff was coming down the pike soon, like there would be some stuff. Well, this fall, because we are now a fully accredited teaching center within Centers for Spiritual Living, this fall we will begin teaching the accredited classes that CSL offers. No, I was going to tell you what we might be doing, but I'll wait for you to check in. But be aware that if you want to be a practitioner, take some classes to eventually take the specific classes, coursework for prac training. Because we will be offering all kinds of things, everything from foundations to essential earnest to visioning to, we'll be offering all kinds of stuff. And we will also be offering non-accredited classes, meaning classes that are specifically geared towards this community, such as acting as a spiritual practice, just as an example. Once again, send an email if you're interested in classes. If there's something specific you want to take, send an email and ask that we offer that. But otherwise, once again, like, follow, subscribe, and share so that others may also become aware of what we are offering. Now, August has begun. And today, well, this month, the theme is My Passion, My Purpose. And today, we're specifically talking about what it means to awaken to your passion or passions, just saying. Some people are not aware of their passions, and some even dismiss the concept or possibility, believing that they don't have any passions. They don't even have one passion. Perhaps the problem is with the word passion because it has become too overused, too obscure, and too elusive in the manner in which we use it. However, one way to awaken to our passions or to discover our passions is to substitute the word joy for passion. So instead of awakening to your passion, awakening to your joy. My joy, my purpose. What brings you joy? Not and or what brought you joy as a child. What brings you joy? What brings you joy? Not only now, but also when you were a child. Is the same thing? Like, for example, for me, comic books, huge source of joy. Marvel movies now, see the connection. Mythology before comic books, Marvel film and television. Passion, art, passion brings me joy. Teaching and speaking brings me joy. What has brought or currently brings you joy? Because uncovering this or discovering this can reveal something that is even more profound about who and what we are if we are willing to do the uncovering, if we are willing to do the discovering. Breathe. So, simple question is, what ignites your soul? What stirs that fire of enthusiasm, that source of awe, that source of bliss? What stirs, what ignites and inspires you? Keeping in mind that passion, and if we're going to swap the word out, joy is a form of freedom. Now, sit with that for a moment. Freedom. What does freedom mean? We spoke about this a couple of weeks ago. There's the freedom from something. You are set free from whatever this is. And there's the freedom to be able to do something. So, passion, joy, does it give us a freedom from and a freedom to be able to do? What is that? Because when we can more effectively anchor and ground into that and practice it consciously, then what we are doing is laying the foundation of what it means to embody freedom, to be a living ambassador, a living demonstration of freedom that is brought on by our joy. Joyful, joyful, I am free now, free from this and free to do that. I am free because I'm passionate, filled with joy right here and now. I know Tracy's, yeah, sorry, Tracy. My life is a musical. Dr. Holmes. Dr. Holmes says, life will be to you what you are to it. We're going to have to revisit this. Life will be to you what you are to it. Somehow you must link your will, your thought, your intellect, your imagination, and your feeling with the divine presence, which is already there. Now, we could just start there. How do you link with that which you have never been unlinked? So it's becoming aware. It's becoming aware that this divine presence already is. It's already present. It's all there is. It's right where you are. You are the divine presence incarnating right where you are. So linking your will is to say, I know that there is only one will, and that will is incarnating in through and as me. There is only one mind, and that mind is incarnating in through and as me. There is only one life, and that life is, follow the theme. So this idea is becoming aware of, consciously aware that right where you are, the divine presence is. And so there is no need to plug into it because there's no plug that can be unplugged from it. It's all there is. It's all that you are and all that you could ever be right now. So actively become aware of it. And we're going to talk about that other part pretty soon. But we're going to pause because this is the segue from that. Life will, what you are to it. Okay, yeah. It's very important that we do not slip into metaphysical malpractice by simply thinking that if you change your thinking, you change your world, you change your life. It's not that simple. Nor is it as simple as what you are being, life will automatically mirror that back. Doesn't work that way. Okay? For example, Frederick Douglass says, slaves are generally expected to sing as well as to work. Why? You're supposed to be happy, even while being a slave. So sing. Or be whipped, but sing. Well, what if I'm not satisfied? What if I don't want to sing? What if I want freedom? Well, that's a different matter. It's a different matter. Sing. Forget about being a slave. Because if you sing, you'll be happy. And if you're happy, then you'll be content. And if you're content, you will not want freedom. Now, what this references is a level of toxic positivity, which is the excessive and ineffective overgeneralization of a happy and optimistic state of mind in anyone's individual lives in the world. You are denying and minimizing, invalidating the genuine and real human experience of life. Generally, when a person exhibits this, they deny any and all quote unquote negativity or non life affirming experience. Now, how else does this show up? What does it look like? It looks like feeling guilt or shame because you do not feel happy all the time. It looks like people who say, just look on the bright side. It shows up as hiding how you actually feel so that others perceive whatever it is you want the mask to convey. It's people who say, just get over it, and more. Okay, you got that? Metaphysical malpractice. Recently, I saw on a YouTube video referencing Neville Goddard, metaphysical malpractice, where they say, the fact is that you are the only creator of whatever is happening in your life. No, because there is a collective consciousness. I didn't create automobiles. I didn't create the internet. So I cannot be the only creator of whatever is happening in my life. Because there are all kinds of things that led up to this moment that I participate in, contribute to, etc. So, not fully accurate. It might be too good to be true, or it might be full of challenges. No matter how your life is today, you are responsible for it. Taking responsibility for your life circumstances is blah, blah, blah. No matter how your life is today, you are responsible for it. Would you say that to them? No matter how your life is today, you are fully responsible for it. No matter how your life is today, no matter how your ancestors' lives were then, you are responsible today. They were responsible then. 100%. Not colonization. They were responsible. You are fully responsible for what has happened to you. Take responsibility for it. Would we tell them that? Or do we understand that they suffered under the consciousness of Hitler and the Nazis so that they didn't create their circumstances? Right? That is, like, we are very clear that, okay, so same thing. Would you tell the Ukrainians, you created this? You are 100% responsible for how your life is. Is that what we would say? Is that being spiritually responsible? Is that being morally and ethically responsible? Or is that metaphysical malpractice? Would you tell any number of the family members or those who were shot and killed by police violence? You are fully responsible for everything that goes on, everything that is happening in your life today. Take responsibility for it. So you're responsible to tell someone that. When we understand that we also exist within a collective consciousness. And the collective consciousness has all kinds racism, homophonia, and all kinds of xenophobia, xenomesia, all kinds of things, poverty, toxic capitalism, toxic patriarchy, all kinds of things. So, do you tell the person who was raped or molested, you are fully responsible for everything that you experience in your life? What? So you blame and shame the victim? Well, see, right, that's the problem. You shouldn't even have the word victim in your consciousness, because the moment you do that, you've made them a tomato. Remember that toxic positivity? See, when we take things like, yeah, victim, and don't be against anything, be for, because if you can show me enough people who are for, then it's not that simplistic. So it's time that we get real about this practice. It's time that we get real about what we are doing and why we are doing it and how we are doing it. So let's go back to what Dr. Holmes said. However, we're going to do a remix of it. Life will be to you what you are to it, and then the rest. Okay, I got you. But the remix. Life will be a reflection of the collective consciousness, which includes your individual consciousness. As you do your work individually and collectively, you evolve and shift the collective will, the collective thought, intellect, imagination, and feeling to align with principle. In other words, to align with the divine presence, which is always present. This is how you participate in manifesting a world that works for all, which then must, because the law always says yes, which then mirrors back to you the divine presence, which the collective has already, right now, aligned with. We do our work individually. When we come together in community, we continue to do our work collectively. And when we go out, we continue collectively to be, to do, to show up as, to shift consciousness, not to shy away from, not to be the best kept secret, but to live out loud, to live boldly, to do our healing work moment by moment, conversation by conversation, to eradicate the collective consciousness that is hurting, harming, terrorizing people. And as we shift that consciousness so that it is accurately and effectively aligned with the divine presence and principle, then now the collective consciousness isn't about lack and scarcity. It's about abundance and prosperity. So that those who live in a food desert, it's now an oasis, if anything. Or we remove the desert altogether and they are in the Garden of Eden where they have healthy, nutritious foods, fresh, clean water, etc. But the collective consciousness has to change. It's like what's going on with the strike with the Screen Actors Guild and the writers, etc., with the CEOs of the company. They're operating on a very collective consciousness paradigm of the Hollywood plantation. And that is what's causing the harm. So the people strike to bring attention to the collective consciousness so that that can be deconstructed, so that that can be destroyed, and a new consciousness put in its place where it benefits the collective, not just the individual. You have how many billions of dollars? They don't have enough money to eat. You have more than enough. They just got a 25-cent check for some residual thing that 10 years ago. That's not enough to live on. How do you have $15 billion? If it weren't for them, collective consciousness. So as we do our work, as we do the practice, it shifts. But not doing it just here, twiddling my metaphysical thumbs. I do it when I'm in conversation with you. We do it when we're in conversation with others, when we're out at dinner and someone says something and we're like, oh, not on my watch. I can't let that go. That was a racist joke. That was a sexist comment. We bring consciousness to it. We bring principle to it, and we speak the truth to circumstances, and the circumstances shift. Doesn't mean that people are going to change automatically overnight. But if we say nothing, then we are part of the problem because we are now complicit in the conversation, in the tone, in the energy that they have set, that they are perpetuating. Christian Sorensen says, when your energy flows, your vibration is raised. When your energy flows, your vibration is raised. The best you've ever felt is a result of this upliftment as the force moves through you with an unparalleled strength. I like the fact that he says, as the force, and may the force be with you. It always is with me. The force is with me, and I am with it. I am the force, and the force is me. Just saying. So, what does it mean? What does it look like for your energy to flow? Because a lot of us are a lot like that tangled up hose or series of hoses, because it looks like there's a black, green, brown, brown with a stripe. The water can't flow effectively through that. Love can't flow effectively through a consciousness that is knotted and gnarled and tangled. Wisdom can't flow through that consciousness. Peace, equity, justice can't flow through a life that is knotted like that. So part of our practice is untangling the knots of consciousness, untangling the paradigms and the belief systems that refuse to let the energy, the power of, the love of, the life of God flow as us fully. Because see, if I'm thinking of myself as being, oh, I'm a sinner, saved by grace, and I'm, that's a knotted consciousness. So I untangle it by recognizing that which God is, I am. Because there is only God, I must be what it is incarnating as me. And the energy flows. So our practice, untangle the knots. Figure out if the hose, the channel through which the energy flows, our belief systems, our relationships, our finances, whatever the energy is channeling, being channeled through, some of them aren't effective, then swap that mangled hose, belief system, consciousness, swap it out. Get a new one that is more effective, and then take care of it. Steward it in a way where it will not become knotted and mangled again. That's what these other two images are, the one in the middle and the blue one on the left. Effective stewardship of the very things that your energy flows through. Your financial energy, what does the hose look like? Your relationship energy, the flow of, what does the hose look like? Your self-esteem, what does the hose look like? Your self-care, what does the hose look like? Are we tending to it and taking care of it so the energy can flow more effectively? Because there's all kinds of energy that we can talk about. Our emotional flow, the physical health and well-being flow, as I said, finances, our creativity. Because there are a lot of people who say, I can't even draw a stick figure. I don't have a creative bone in my body. Yeah, you do. You have to. You are creation itself incarnating as you. You have to have a creative bone. You have to. That's one of the reasons why in the foundations class, there's a whole lesson specifically geared toward demonstrating and proving to you that you are creative. What about your relationship flow? What about your intellect and your mental flow? Are we doing the work so that the energy of the divine, the energy of the universe, the energy of the cosmos flows naturally, easily, and effortlessly? Breathe. Raymond, I gotta say Raymond. Raymond Charles Barker says, my creativity is amazing. It renews and recreates my whole experience. I am a new person with a fresh mind, living in an interesting world. What about your creativity? Is your creativity amazing? If not, then there's a knot that's prohibiting and preventing the flow. Does it renew and recreate? And I love the fact that recreate and to recreate, like recreation, same root. So when you are engaged in a recreational activity, you are recreating a new experience. And by engaging in our creativity, we become new people. By the renewing of your mind, by the renewing, by the creativity, by the renewing, by the recreating whole experience, we become new. Fresh mind, pure mind, perfect mind, because there is only one mind, and that mind is God, whole, perfect, and complete. So this fresh mind is that mind. And as a result of that, not only do we live in an interesting world, a world full of awe, but we recreate so that places where there is war, places where there is famine, places where there is any number of atrocities, sex trafficking, etc., we shift the consciousness so that those activities, the kind of behavior that engages in that, the kind of thoughts that created it, no longer have a place because the consciousness has been shifted. In the same way that how many people carry around this phone in their backpack or in their back pocket? No one. It's what the smartphone is for, right? We have a smartphone that we carry. We don't do this with it. We don't even do like we used to do with the handheld receiver. It's a different hold. It's a different use. It's a different purpose. So stop doing old new thought. Stop doing cranking the car, going out to light the fire in the street lights, cutting people so that they bleed when they have a headache. All kinds of things that we once did, once believed in. Not anymore. So then why do some of us still live in a world where war is considered normal? I've had many conversations with people who say, you'll never get rid of war because people, what? You have too small of an imagination then, which means you are limiting the flow of creativity. You are limiting the flow of the divine if you can't even imagine a world where there is no war, where there is more than enough food for all, where there is equity and justice for all. If you can't even imagine that, but we can imagine mermaids and unicorns, and we can imagine talking emojis and Legos that have their own, we can imagine that. We can imagine robots that transform into cars, and we can imagine that. But we can't imagine fascinating concept, fascinating statement of what we are saying about our consciousness, is it not? So step into your creativity in a whole new way. Take a class. Whatever it is that will get you into the flow, and not just in the flow, but as the flow itself. Don't just simply ride the wave, but recognize that when you are in the flow, the surfer and the wave are one. Don't just flow downstream with the river, but be the river. Be yin, yang, ever in motion, ever in balance, ever complementing. So each of us has our own thing. For some, creativity is writing. For some, it's drawing. Some, it's painting. Some, it's dancing. There are all kinds of ways to engage in. For some, it's cooking. It's one of the things I like about shows like Chopped, because as soon as they open the basket, their creative wheels must begin, because they have to take these things and recreate and reinvent and reimagine what these things, these ingredients can become in order to make a delicious meal for the judges. So whatever it is for you, Do it. Whatever it is. For some, it's photography. For some, it's poetry. Whatever it is for you, do it. Not next week, not next year. Now, do something creative today. Engage in it consciously. Engage in it today. Breathe. Aaron Ito's blog on Better Up says, ha ha ha, bake cakes, learn how to do code, like, internet, HTML and stuff. Volunteer, start a book club, design a logo, design a t-shirt. It doesn't matter. Simply keep on experimenting. Keep on doing whatever it is until you find what speaks to you, what ignites your soul. Keep doing it. Keep exploring. Keep experimenting. It's not as important what the end result is. You've heard me say it many times. The answer, the question. Be in the question, in the mystery, in the unknown, because by being in this space, the answer will show up. But if we simply always, what's the answer? What's the answer? What's the answer? Then we're not partaking in the process that gets us there. We simply want to jump from A to Z without, but what about all the letters in between? They don't matter. I just need to get to Z. Then you're missing a huge part of the creative process. Explore, experiment, play, have fun, try things that if you challenge, if you say, oh, I could never act on stage, take an acting class. Oh, I could never, whatever that is, I could never learn another language. Then take a basic intro to Japanese. Oh, I could never go to Japan. Then start with going to things like the Washington, D.C. Cherry Blossom Festival, where there are all kind of Japanese cultural things going on. If there's a particular museum exhibit or event at, say, a museum in New York City where they're focusing on Japanese art and culture, go. You don't have to get on a plane and go to Japan to engage in Japanese culture. There are Japanese restaurants. There are all kinds of things wherever we are that we can start to engage in. If necessary, just get online and research Japan. Learn about. So whatever it is that you think you can't do, I challenge you to do it. Now, keep in mind, I'm not saying, oh, I could never bungee jump. I'm not saying, well, just put a rubber band around your waist and jump. I'm not saying. I'm saying the things regarding creativity that you say or you believe that you could never do. Oh, I could never do poetry. I could never do an open mic night. Or I could never join a choir and sing in front of people. I could never take photos and have an art exhibit or a photo exhibit. I could never publish a book. I'm saying things like that. Push yourself, challenge yourself. Breathe. It's not my work, it's my passion. I love this phrase, but it's also important for us to keep in mind that this is speaking from a place of privilege. Two kinds or two levels. There are some people who work to stay alive. They work 5 jobs and they're not necessarily passionate about any of them. But they have to because of the current structure, the current systemic system, the current collective consciousness, they're working to stay alive. Okay? So once again, we change the system to then give them the economic, the financial, the creative freedom to do work that they are passionate about so that this statement, this affirmation is now true for them. That's 1. 2, keep in mind that there are many people who can't work. for a variety of reasons. The system is set up in such a way that certain disabled people can't work. The system is set up in certain ways where, based upon you have a prison record, we don't hire ex-cons or et cetera, et cetera. And then there are those who, because of physical limitations, because of cognitive limitations or cognitive degrees of, they can't work. So there are a lot of people who simply can't work. There are a lot of unhoused people that can't get a job because they don't have an address. So there are a lot of reasons why, many systemic reasons why. So simply recognizing that, telling someone toxic positivity, just go get a job. Why don't you just get a job? Because not everybody can. Breathe. But for those who can, and even those who can't, let's look at this as, what is my passion and how do I engage in it? What is my passion and how do I engage in it? Ernest D. Chu says, watch children at play. For them, a cardboard box becomes a castle. Dolls become part of the family. And video games allow them to save the universe. Children at play. The joy of imagination and play. When do we adults lose that? Why do we lose it? How do we reclaim it? How do we reclaim the ability to be so imaginative and playful that we can have joy, smile with some of the simplest things? A cardboard box, a napkin, a straw, a hand puppet. I'm not talking to you right now, I'm talking to them, so go somewhere. Thank you. Just to have fun, just to play. Find it for yourself. Imagine, have fun. You're still a child. You're still someone's child. Even though both my parents have made their transition, I'm still their child. So why not play? Why not have fun? Oprah Winfrey says, there is no greater gift that you can give or receive than to honor your calling. It's why you were born and how you become most truly alive. To honor your calling. To honor your calling. Yes. And it is extremely important because, pause. There are many people who want the call. Where's the call coming from? I don't know what the call is. What's it calling me to do? If we're going to heed the call, for linguistic purposes, we will continue to use the word heed the call. If we're going to heed the call, we have to recognize what it is. So what is the call? Your imagination, your inspiration, your intuition, your divine discontent. All of these things are the call. It's calling us to heal. It's calling us to recreate. It's calling us to shift. It's calling us to evolve. Whatever that is, the thing that said, be a practitioner, that's the call. The thing that said, be a minister, that's the call. The thing that said, I'm going to try photography, that's the call. Whatever that is, that's it. But if we're going to answer it, we have to be grounded enough to even feel it. Because it's not something that we necessarily hear. We recognize it, however it shows up. It could show up in a movie. It could show up in a book that we're reading. However the call is showing up, it's not as clear as the bat phone or the bat signal. But however it is showing up, being grounded and anchored enough in principle to recognize it is the first step to being able to live it by responding, embodying, and heeding it. Breathe. This week's declaration or affirmation, I will say it first, and if it resonates with you, say it with me on the second go round. I am a passionate, individualized creation of life itself. And I was born with, I live with, and live as passion. Together. I am a passionate, individualized creation of life itself. And I was born with, I live with, and live as passion. And so it is. This week's questions. What brought you joy as a child? And what brings you joy as an adult? When was the last time you used your imagination in life affirming or life denying ways and then acted upon whatever that was? What did you want to be when you grew up? And what do you want to be now? If money, time, whatever it is, were not an issue, what would you want to be or do now? Now, once you have that, look at the essence of it to determine, can I still embody whatever that is, even if I cannot fully be it? For example, if I said, if money were not an issue, then if time were not an issue, then I would be an astronaut. Let's just say, for the sake of conversation. What is the essence of astronaut? And can I extrapolate from the essence? I'm not going to go to NASA and be an astronaut. I'm not doing that. But can I do this? Astronaut, exploration, astronaut, adventure, astronaut. Different perspective from way up here to the earth. An elevated eagle eye perspective, whatever that is. I can live that essence now without doing that. That's what the question is asking. And then lastly, what passions have you been aware of early on, and what passions are you aware of now? So, what passions did you recognize when you were younger? Maybe a child, an adolescent, preteen, and a young adult. What passions did you recognize then? And what passions are you aware of and do you recognize that you have now? Because there are things that we were passionate about at one time that we're not passionate about now. Cool? Now let's simply anchor and recognize in this moment the isness and allness of the divine. There is only one power and one presence. There is only that which is passion itself. And it is living, moving, and having its beingness in, through, and as each and every one. It is breathing each and every one. And this divine breath, inspiration, to inspire means to breathe. This breath inspires me to live this life of God, incarnating, individualizing itself. And with that breath, with that awareness, comes all this creativity, all this infinite potential and possibility, imagination that is limitless. And all of that is mine right now. And what I say of and for myself is true for each and every person watching now. Creativity and joy, imagination and power, passion, bliss, the ecstasy, the orgasmic joy of living on purpose, right here and right now. And the law says yes. And so with that yes, I simply surrender and allow it to be exactly what it is, answered prayer, to let it be exactly what it is, the demonstration of my life, to let it be exactly what it is, my experience right here and right now, as the very flow of the universe moves through every avenue, every area of my life, my relationships, my finances, my physical health and well-being, my emotional health and well-being, my intellectual health and well-being. All of it, all channels are open, all chakras are lit and on fire with the divine power and presence of all that is, and that is now. And so it is. Namaste, blessings, much love. See you over in Zoom.